I'm gonna tell you right now why you are broke. You are broke because you the lack of planning. Like when I started planning my life, I'm not gonna say my life was perfect. It never was. My life was insane, absolutely insane. But the preparation and the steps I took, I succeeded a lot later. It took, I'm gonna say, about 26 years. 26 years to liberate myself completely from the bullshit that was what was going on. So, but I started working, like truly working on myself from the time I was 17. In 1997, I started martial arts in 17. This is before the army. So I joined the army at 21. I get out of the army, fully honorable discharge. Went to college by force by my mother. That was not the plan. And then my last and final job, correctional sergeant, not the plan. 100% P&T, disabled veteran for PTSD. Long story behind that. I'm not going to get into how I got PTSD, but my PTSD symptoms is bad. That's why I'm 100%. And then I also got my SSDI as well, combined with 100%. My full diagnosis is PTSD with depression and schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, all at once. And I had none of that prior to the army. So um, things just went downhill disability wise. I got full maximum disability across the board that I earned serving in Saudi Arabia and Iraq. I hold two black belts and two styles, working on my third black belt, by the way. Like I said, I have PTSD. Okay, like physically I'm fine, but mentally I am. My mind is like broken. Um, so I no longer function out in the outside world anymore. I'm selling my car in 2 years, and I basically created a bubble around my entire life that involves Uber and my wife. I do not go outside unless I am with my wife. My wife and I will go to the movie theater. We will go out together, dates, the fast food drive-through. That's it. Yeah, other than that, there's literally no going outside. Everybody's in this house sleeping right now. I'm about to play my video game, Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I'm about to try to play as much as I can today and tonight. But they they tried to destroy and annihilate my life, but I had a few surprises for them. The first time that my parents tried to destroy me was when I first got out of the army. Um, they tried their hardest, and I ended up working at Arby's temporarily before went back to college. And my mother had a problem with me working at Arby's, and I like literally back then at 28 years old, I didn't have any qualifications at 28. Okay, I was just now starting my life because my mother delayed my life. So at 28, this is like my first. I got out of the army at age 23. Attempted college again, then ended up back in the workforce. So I ended up fueling airplanes at 24 to 25. I can't remember what I did at age 26. Oh, security, that's right. Private security. So I went from fueling airplanes to private security to working at Arby's. And the fueling job, the private security and working at Arby's, was me just now starting out where I should have started out at 18. But because of what my parents were doing, I had to join the United States Army instead. So now my civilian life was significantly delayed. So what should have started at 18 actually started at 24. So I talk about the civilian part of my life, right? And I graduated college at age 30. People I went to school with uh, had graduated college years prior. I graduated college at 30, okay? And then I got out of my parents' house, like trying to reestablish my life. And the whole time I'm hearing, what you're doing is not good enough. Like, I am literally trying my damn best. Like, I'm with the, especially with the hand I got dealt, this shit from my mother was so ridiculous. So I started up again, private security, armed security, corrections. Did corrections for 10 months in Texas. Relocated to Indy. Before I went to Indiana, I did Pizza Hut for 2 years. Then I relocated to Indiana for 5 years. Worked at a call center for about a year and a half for Verizon Wireless. And then I ended up working corrections again as an officer. 12 months later, I promoted to correctional sergeant. Correctional sergeant was my last full-time job because of post-traumatic stress disorder issues that I've been struggling with since Iraq. The whole time from age 23 to 39 is where I was. I was a correctional sergeant at age 39. The whole time from 23 to 39, suffering from massive PTSD symptoms that were not documented from at the Veterans Affairs yet. My disability claim was filed in 2017. I was a 10% disabled veteran this whole time, the whole time was PTSD. The judge upgraded the connection to service from 21 years ago to PTSD or depression. My service connection disability is 21 years old, and then he increased me to the 100% PNT. I got my SSDI before I got the increase to 100% PNT-IU. So I am unemployable 100%, and I'm also on SSDI combined. I got the SSDI before that. I had to demote myself from correction sergeant to security guard to combine with my, at the time it was 50% disability, giving me the same pay that I was at as a correctional sergeant. So I was able to afford to demote myself and do a 3-day a week part-time security job for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and even that was too much. My mind could not handle that shit no more. Like, and then I, because when I, because I only did it, like, actually it was Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was the only day I dealt with customers, and I would suggest a substitution because we didn't have the product that the customer wanted. So I'll suggest a substitution or let them know that we don't have what they need at that time, and I'll give them a date and a time to come back, or a solution depending on what the office told me. And they would be pumping their fists in the air screaming at me. I'm the completely innocent person in this. I don't control shit. The only thing I do is log the driver in, let the office know what's going on, control the flow of traffic, and make sure they get their shit on time. It's actually the office that found the office workers, and the warehouse people found the stuff to take to the office and pull it out on the cart to the customer. They control that shit. I was just doing the logistics with the organization of the traffic and making sure that the cars were not wrapped around the block, right? So I was just basically responsible for keeping the customers flowing and logging, doing the logs. That's literally all my part-time job was. I was making $800 a month doing this because of a little part-time security thing, right? I'm disabled, so I was like, I didn't need anything more than that. My God, these motherfuckers. My PTSD was about to go out the way the fuck out of control. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Then all of a sudden I got increased to the 100% PNT-IU, and I instantly texted the boss. I said I quit. I had back pay was $78,000. I was instantly done. The money hit my bank account on a Tuesday morning. I woke up on a Tuesday morning to have more money that I've ever had in my entire life, and I instantly quit that part-time job. I told my wife, back then she was my fiance, I told my then fiance, now wife, that I quit my job. We got paid, everything's cool, and my retirement started right there. So now that was 2022. Fast forward to present day. My PTSD is so fucking bad because of all the combined efforts of what the army did and what my mother did to my she took my existing PTSD and worsened it. Like, I'm every job I had, I ended up surviving on, barely surviving. Let me rephrase that. And the whole time she wanted me to get some kind of high paying job or something. I am like, look, with my symptoms, there was no way in freaking hell that was going to happen. So in 2017, I didn't even tell my parents anything. I went ahead and submitted my application with the lawyer to the Veterans Affairs to get what I was entitled to for my injuries in service in Iraq. Had I run that through my mother first, the end result would have never happened, because she would not have wanted this. She basically wanted to make me suffer due to some apology that I didn't do in 1999. I kid you not, she literally tried to make me grovel at her feet to apologize for something I did not do. And she took advantage of the fact that she was in complete financial control, and tried, keyword here, tried to wreck my life. And it almost worked. But you see, when I started getting away from my mother, when I moved out of her house, and the further I got away from my mother, despite the disability, my life started getting better, because I didn't have this bitch of a woman in my ear the whole time bitching about my life. So the further I got away from her, things started to improve. At one point, I spent 2 years in Austin, Texas, and then I moved to Arkansas. That was a whole 2 year odyssey of my life. I mean, the whole 2 years, like, all the shit that was going wrong when I was near her wasn't happening. I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I was doing a lot better on my own, because I was very far away from my mother. So what I did to her this time, as soon as I got paid, I sent her a cease and desist email, and I canceled the shit out of my immediate family. I told him, said, look, this is the part where you leave me alone for the rest of my life. And I am just straight done. I am married. We're in a 3-bedroom house, chilling for the rest of our lives. My wife is retired with me. We're doing well. About to play some video games here in a minute, but ever since I put some serious distance in between me and my family, all of a sudden, despite my disabilities, things start moving in a positive direction. Imagine that. So it wasn't me the whole time. It was my parents. And then they took all the gaslighting and all this gaslighting they wanted to do, and blamed it on me. And I'm having reactions because of my post-traumatic stress disorder that I knew I had. You're messed up. When you're messed up like me, you know you are. It takes a while to get this diagnosis, because the Veterans Affairs don't want to pay you. Believe it or not, they did not build that system to help veterans. They built that system to discredit veterans and reject their disability. That's what they built that system to do. But it's very possible to win if everything is legit. My lawyer proved my case, and I won everything, every maximum benefit there is for being a 100% PNT IU veteran, and it's PNT, so I have every VA benefit there is, every single veteran, every single benefit that is offered to a disabled veteran. I have all of them. I have earned them all, and it is quite permanent. There's literally nothing this fucking government can do to me. And in fact, I made myself invincible by staying home. By staying home and creating this bubble around my life, a bubble of protection around my life, selling the car in 2 years so I don't have any random interactions at the gas station or random interactions in that outside world out there. I Whatever is going on outside my door, I'm not involved in that. Anything could happen out there, and I do not know about it. I only know about the news that's happening on TikTok and YouTube, and that is it. That is my only access to what's going on in the world. That is how uninvolved I am with them, because I'm just done. With my PTSD symptoms, I can't risk it. So, um, yeah, that's why I have to have this protection around my life to ensure that nothing happens. But yeah, I finally got around to dealing with my mother, and what I did to her was severe, and she deserved every bit of that shit because she was not going to stop. And when I finally got my money, I put my foot down and I said, "Look, this cannot continue. If you do this the crap that you've been doing for the last 26 years, one more time, I am going to sue you, and this is going to be the end of it." Surprise, she blocked my email address. I've had her phone number blocked. What made me send her that email? She started texting my wife. I was like, okay, you harassed me for over 2 decades, and now you're starting to worm your way into my wife's phone. And that's when I hit the brakes. I said, enough. I said, you're not going to take an innocent person and drag them into this. This is not going to happen anymore. And I put my foot down and I pumped the brakes. I said, enough is enough. I said, we have a right as a married couple to live in peace. And I pumped the brakes on that shit. And that was the end of my mother. I'm out of here.